Hi, Rachel here from the NOIC Godcast, where we offer wacky wisdom weekly from God's Word. On today's episode, we're taking a look at doing ministry from the heart, not from obligation. So last week they talked about doing things more up to be seen by others than from God. And today we're going to look at doing God's work not by obligation, but from the outpouring of what he's doing in our hearts. If you're in any kind of healthy church, you should have a few ministries going on. Here at Sand Hill, we have a couple, just a few. There are plenty of opportunities for you to be working in ministry here. And it's easy to fall into feeling obligated to be in every single ministry that's out there. You want to help and you like what the purpose is, like you like what they stand for. What I love about our church is most of the congregation is involved a little bit in every ministry, I feel like. But the heavy lifting of each ministry is kind of ran by different people, to a certain extent. Like when OCC runs time comes around, almost the whole church comes out to pack the boxes, but not everyone is out there setting up and making the decisions and planning and everything. And then when camp comes around, almost all the churches here devoting work days and Saturdays to all of the camp prep, but not all of them get to come to camp. And so we're just like, you see the church working as a body, but not the same people are running each thing. When you're a part of a church that's doing a lot, it's really easy to feel like you need to be doing everything. Or if it's a family that's leading it, you want to help them in the ministry. But if we get burned out from trying to do a little bit of everything, are we really in God's will? I'm pretty somewhat involved with NOIC, just a little bit. And when it comes to camp time, I feel like that's something that God really wants me to be very involved in. But when it's LifeWise time, which I feel like is all the time, I don't really feel like we have an off season as much with LifeWise. I love volunteering and helping out when I can, but I'm not on the board or as involved in that ministry. Being involved in a ministry should be from the outflow of what God is doing in our hearts. When I think of those kids at LifeWise getting to learn about the Bible, I don't think, I have to give up my free time. It's not really free time, but I have to give up my time. I have to go walk in the hot sun or in the snow, or I have to, blah, blah, blah. But I truly love getting to go build relationships with those kids each year and help them to know the Bible. I desire for those kids to hear from God's word, and I feel privileged to just be a small part in that ministry. When doing ministry becomes irritating and you'd rather be doing something else or your heart just isn't in it, it probably isn't benefiting you to be a part of that ministry. It's such a blessing to get to be his hands and feet by working in ministry. It should be one of our biggest joys to get to do his work. When we're feeling obligated to these ministries, we're missing out on the joy it should bring us. When we do ministry from the heart, it changes those around us, but it changes our hearts too. You can't be doing God's will. You can't be being his hands and feet and doing his work without it truly affecting your life. I think of White Flag Faith, I think is the year that was really when I started stepping, somewhere in there. Not that long ago. Actually, I don't know how long ago that was. But
2018, so 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how that's possible.
But countless years I feel like that's one of the more pivotal moments in my life is White Flag Faith, but I would have to read the lessons over and over and over again in the prayer stations and working the long hours and depending on his strength. And through all that time, he was molding me and shaping me before we even got to camp. But then we've talked before about once we're at camp, like we're not going, I feel like we don't go for the same reasons as everyone else.
Yeah.
And so we're going and we're being changed in a different way.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I think that when you're doing ministry, yes, it's to serve others. Yes, it's to do his work. But that if you're doing it for the right reasons, it'll change who you are too.
Well, I think that's kind of a little bit back to what we talked about last week, and what we talked about at campus here. First things first.
Mine's upside down, but it still matters.
We got 3.
Oh, hers is upside down too.
One of the, I think it's just so important, when you're talking about ministry, you are of no good pouring into others if you yourself are empty. Right. You first have to be filled up and outpour from that. And that's what Jesus says to the woman at the well. He says, I will give you water, you'll never thirst again. And he says it'll be like water gushing from inside your heart. So like and you see that with the woman. She leaves her bucket behind. She goes into town, and next thing you know, she's telling everybody. And next thing you know, the people come to Jesus and they say, we don't want to hear from her anymore. We want to hear from you. And so what I'm getting at is the woman was so overfilled on the inside that it overflowed into the lives of those around her. That's how ministry is supposed to work. I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody. I'm slightly involved in some ministry.
Just a few.
A little bit. And I love it. I love it. I love doing it. I truly genuinely do. But I've been involved in ministry literally since I was a kid. Like I really can't remember not being involved in ministry to some capacity.
You remember when you were a kid.
Well, that's true too. But they told me that, but I remember from a young age, like I would start more and more responsibilities, and I would have people, well-meaning people in the church say, well, you just got to be careful. You're going to get burned out. And like, then I'd take out another hat and they're like, you need to look out. And then and so it was like the more responsibility mounted, the more it was, red flags. And like, I agree, there's some pitfalls there. But I guess what I'm getting at, and this is what I was sharing in a conversation yesterday, I genuinely believe that if we're doing ministry correctly, and if we're outflowing from being overfilled, like if we're overflowing inside and it's overflowing into others, then I don't know that burnout's possible. Right. And I don't think that it's God's plan to be burnout. And I think that if God is intentionally leading you to this ministry, he's going to give you the ability to do that ministry without burning out. Mm-hmm. Now, what you're saying is that so often we take on these ministries and we do it in our own strength. Mm-hmm. That's what leads to burnout. Right. But like if he is very definitively calling you to it, he's going to give you the ability to do it. And as long as you stay filled up, you stay close to him, and he is your source of strength and satisfaction, then from that filled upness, you're going to be able to flow into others without burning out.
Yeah.
Speechless. I was a few of the things you said I was going to say, and then you already said them.
So. I'm sorry. The part of Rachel today will be played by Emma. I felt like that was a lot. I feel like I said more than you did, and you wrote the podcast every week.
Like you said, we can't expect to get anything or be anything for somebody if we aren't. Mm-hmm. If our heart isn't in it. And that's the thing that I think people, like you said, I don't believe that burnout is possible if your heart's truly in it. Because if your heart is in it, God isn't going to lead. Like if you're truthfully seeking Christ and saying, okay, God, what ministries do you want me in? Where do you want me? He's not going to lead you to do something, and you're not going to step out that way to do it and get burnout. Yeah. Or it's going to be a lot easier for you to step back and say, okay, this is affecting me. I need to let go of that before you get to the point that you have burnout. Yeah.
So what about this? Up the ante a little bit. What do you guys think about this? So what if this applied not just to ministry?
Yes.
Like what if the same thing applied to anything you do in life as a Christian? Mm-hmm. So whether that's being a stay-at-home mom, or whether that's working your 9-to-5 job, or whether that's whatever it is you're doing, like I think we all, like that's literally most of the time why people take vacations is they need a break. Like they need a reprieve from life, really. But what if we did, like what if I went grocery shopping through the Lord and like was so overfilled with him that I overflowed into the aisles, metaphorically, of course. But what if I, parented in that way? Like and it wasn't that I just after the kids go to bed, I need my time for my shows. Like we hear that so often in our day. But what if I didn't have to feel that way? Like what if I was so overfilled with the Lord that it overflowed into everything that I do, so that burnout is not a part of my life in any area? Like I think we see that, like I think, and probably for good reason, we see that in Christian ministry, like we are afraid of burnout. And I would venture to say there are some folks who won't even step into ministry because of that fear. But the truth is you can burn out on anything. And the same people who won't step into ministry are really burning their life out in sports, career, hobbies, whatever. And so really it's really more of a heart issue than what you're doing with your hands.
Yeah.
And I think that we've missed that in the American dream.
Well, it's like, and I've said this before on here, we are to strive for excellence. We're to strive for the abundant life, like we always talk about. And we can't live that life if even doing the little things like laundry, dishes, those things, if we're doing it, not that we're never going to have a bad day and be like, oh my goodness, I just want to sit down, but doing it with your whole heart. And to a lot of people, that sounds like stupid. Like you're literally just doing laundry, but God blessed you with that. And when you put your heart into it, your mind's completely different. Like when I do, I'm thinking, Lord, thank you for this house. Thank you for this laundry. Thank you for all these things. But when I'm doing it begrudgingly or when I'm upset, it's a completely different atmosphere. And that's what, like, I keep praying, like, now that I got this job and that I'm starting tomorrow, I'm like, Lord, prepare my heart, because this is going to be a big change for me. Like, I haven't had a job for a while, and even when I did have a job, I was in an atmosphere that was my dad's company. Like, it's completely different now. And I'm going to be around people that don't know the Lord. And yes, I've been a witness to people, but now, like, it's more upfront. Like, I'm not at home all day. And I'm just like, God, prepare my heart to be an example for you, and to not get to that point where I'm like, oh, this is so hard. But prepare me in every aspect of that job, of the people, to just be a light for you. And I think that's what, not even just, but preparing your heart, praying before we do every single thing, no matter what it is. Like at the grocery store, Lord, bless me as I go through the help me
Mayo
save
or Miracle
like 50
Whip. Lord, you don't even have to pray about that, but that's very obvious enough.
Don't let the name Miracle persuade you.
It's of the devil. Yes. But I think, kind of back to Cam and to Emma's point, I think Matthew 6:33, when we seek first the kingdom of God in all things, then all things will be added unto us. And what that means is that not that God will give you anything and everything. It means that he'll add value to everything you're doing. He'll add value to the laundry. He'll add value to the groceries. He'll add value to these things in your life that you're doing if you seek him first. And that's where I think this really comes down to, is the heart. Whether it's in ministry or anything you do in life, if you're not seeking his kingdom first and doing those things, then you're really going to have no value in anything you're doing, and you will face burnout.
Yeah. I think it's easy to see ministry as like the spiritual side of things. And when we think of like your house things and your job and all those things, like as if like God didn't intend you to
Like
you're going to
there's
do
secular and there's spiritual, and
but
there's
like God knew all along that you were going to have to do all these things. And so like he wants to be a part of every single thing, not just the what we quote as spiritual.
The historical account, Brother Lawrence, who was a monk. He was a dishwasher, to be specific, a dishwashing monk. Yes, you don't find many of those. And so he is famous for he wrote a book on this of basically inviting God into every part of his day. And so whether that's doing the dishes, whether that's meditating in the monastery, whatever monks do, I don't actually know, whether it's ironing the long black robes, I don't know what they do, but like inviting the Lord into every part of his day. And it really was like, it's a very powerful story. But really that's what we see Jesus doing himself. Like, here's God in the flesh. He is God. And yet he's inviting God into standing at the graveside and fishes and loaves, like serving food and ministering to people and having conversations with the disciples, and like at dinner table, every part of Jesus' life, he invites God into it. And so there was no secular part of Jesus' life, the mundane day-to-day things he had to do, and then the spiritual things that he wanted. It was all the same. And yet we have kind of fooled ourselves into thinking that there are two compartments in our lives. That shouldn't be the case. Like, if you have compartments in your life, that's a problem. Like, that's a heart problem.
Rip out those dividers.
That's right. Like, Mom, you're not gonna like this, but divide up and just make it all mushy. Like, make it all come together, all the food together.
Well, I think the hardest part of like differentiating that and separating it is because of the world that we live in now. Even though we want to say that we mean all things, seek him in all things, our society doesn't look at it that way. Yeah. Like, being a stay-at-home mom or doing those things isn't as important. Like, it's important, but like it's not really like that. So you start to think less of yourselves, or even just think less of what you're doing, instead of realizing, okay, God, you gave me this. I'm going to put my whole heart into literally every single thing I do all day long. And it goes back to like, people are always watching. Get out of here.
We're under attack.
People are always watching. And when you aren't seeking him first in all things, like that, it not only just affects you, it affects all those around you. So definitely. When they see you doing laundry, when they see you washing the dishes at work, when they see you, like, whatever you're doing, seeking Christ or being happy and living a happy life, then they're going to see, okay, Christ is in them. But it goes back to you saying too, if your heart isn't in it, if you're upset, if you're dreading doing it, is it really what God is calling you to do?
We've talked about this so many times in Sunday school in various places. And like, I've had the people say things like God really doesn't care about your groceries. And while I disagree, what I want to, I guess, challenge and extend today is this, like, invite God into your grocery shopping trip and let him decide. Like, let him decide where he wants to be involved and where he doesn't. Don't just presume for him that this part he's not interested in. Like, invite him into all of it and let him decide. Right. And I think there's tiers, there's levels of this. But like today, kind of to Emma's point, today, our modern society, it's not just like, okay, when I get groceries, that's my time. When I'm reading my Bible, that's his time. Yeah. It's so much more severe now where it's basically Sundays for an hour are his time and the rest of the week is for me. Right. And so what I'm getting at is this mentality has the tendency to grow. And so we have to really, it's a hard issue. We have to apply this to every part of our life or it will grow to a place where he really has nothing left in your life. Yeah. And that's when I think we find things like Matthew 7 where we hear Jesus say things like, I never knew you. Like we cast out demons in your name. We prophesied in your name, Lord, Lord, like, and yet Jesus says, I don't know who you are, but you're not one of mine. Depart from me. And so I think it was Spurgeon. I love this quote. I'm going to get it all wrong. But Spurgeon said something like, he was talking about Matthew 7, and he said, I can never hear that from God. Jesus could never say to me, Lord, I never knew you. He's like, Lord, never knew me. You knew me in this, and I've known you when we went through this, and I knew you so intimately, I could never hear you say to me, I never knew you. And so to Spurgeon's point, if we invite God into every part of our life and he's minutely involved in every single minuscule thing that we do, how could you ever say, I never knew you? Like he's a part of everything. Right. And so it's that mindset of this is for me, this is for him, no matter how small or big, that when that creeps in, we're in heart trouble.
Yep. Well, and I think the amazing part is though, when we do let go of those things and truthfully seek Christ, because like we're all guilty of it. Sure. We're all guilty of thinking like, yeah, okay, God's gonna fix my groceries or help me with that. But like,
she must order at Walmart too. You need to fix your groceries.
We stopped because that was it.
I knew it.
We no longer order from Walmart Plus. But it's just amazing how when you do put things in God's hands, because like even my job, for instance, like I've heard so many people. And like nothing against, really kind of, but like I've heard so many people say that that's like another side of things. Like you don't need to like ask God and talk to him about what job you should get. And it's like, no, yes, because God is going to place you where he wants you to be. He's going to place you around the people that he knows needs to see him. And like even last week when I was waiting to hear back, like I was so worried. I was so stressed about it. And then I just started crying and I was like, God, I am telling you that whatever your will is going to have, like saying, just let your will be done. And I'm sitting here and I'm doing this. And it wasn't until the next day I heard something. And I was supposed to hear something the day before that. And I was like, okay, God, I need to just learn, like, and we all do, but I need to learn to just give it to you and to trust you through it, because it's every single aspect of life. God just wants you to put your full trust in him. And when you don't, there are times where he's not going to allow things to happen to show you, hey, once you let go and once you give this to me, you're going to see the blessing.
Yeah. All right. The rule of Rachel will now again be played by Rachel.
Thank you. Give me that hat back. Me. So this quote kind of goes better with last week's, but I just couldn't find it. Yeah. So
Spurgeon.
It's Spurgeon. This shall be an infallible test to you concerning anyone's ministry. If it is man praising and man honoring, it is not of God. And then the featured content. Oh, I couldn't find it. I can't read gray apparently. Whole World Hears by Casting Crowns. It is an oldie.
Very old.
So be sure to. I was thinking we had a new episode or new.
We do have a new episode next week, but not a new series.
Not a new series. This is only the second one.
The middle of the month.
It's been a month. Not too really.
I understood.
All right. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we will see you next week. Bye.
I can't live this life. I can't go and do. There's no way I can live the life that they have talked about. I could never be good enough. See, the devil thought he had me right where he wanted me, but what he didn't know is that Jesus had me right where he wanted me.